Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we are reviewing a special little Fear Factor continuation of the the season that just ended. This is the new Fear Factor.
Wow.
And it is called 48 Hours of Fear, so it is only going to be a two-part, quote, special. So it's this week and next week.
Okay, so actually, it is this week and this week, technically, because this is already next week. And so we are not reviewing Fear Factor, we are reviewing Soy Factor. 48 Hours of Soy. And boy, oh boy, I'm so glad that after, all those weeks of Soy Factor, House of Soy, we have been, given more soy. Because that's exactly what 2026 needed. More soy. So, get ready to inject soy into your veins with this show. Because here's the thing. This show continues to be meme content. It continues to be absolutely hilarious. I wrote down a couple of notes. Safi writes down copious notes. I write down a couple of notes. So my first note is, Johnny Knoxville, this whole entire first episode, he is dressed like a lesbian grandmother. He has this cardigan on, and he has, his like Rachel Maddow haircut, and he looks like a lesbian grandmother. And it's just like, wow, like, he is totally just like dressed like he would be in his regular life. Like, okay, here I am. I got my paycheck and, I'm here to just have fun. Like, he is not even dressed like a host or like, like how Joe Rogan in the old Fear Factor, he would be dressed in like these like casual, like dude clothes. Well, Johnny, in this first episode, like the whole time, it's so distracting. He just, that outfit that he chose did not work in this episode. Like, it felt straight up like his personal wardrobe. What do you have to say, Safi? Whoops. That's my impression of you, Safi. What do you have to say about that? Hello?
Well, I don't really care, but this when you get it when you get farther into the episode, in fact, it's at the end. And so it's going to be continuing on this week. He's wearing a green cowboy outfit.
And so in the
like
second
Roy Rogers.
So in the second episode, he looks like he's like at a gay bar. He looks like a gay cowboy.
I don't know what it is, but it's really weird. It's a very bright green and it's decorated. And
remember the Green Hornet? Well, he's the Green Soynet. Remember the Lone Ranger? He's the Lone Soyger.
Okay, Marco.
Okay, you got it? Johnny Soy. And so anyways, let's start off this episode with our new cast of characters. And, as you guys know, we did not like the characters in the other season. They were terrible. They were vapid. They were, like Gen Z stereotypes, caricatures. Some of them were really weird and embarrassing. It was really bad. It was so cringeworthy, the contestants they got. And this time around, there are a couple of contestants that are like walking, disasters. And one of them, right off the bat, she's the dental hygienist. She says, "I'm shaking like a stripper." And I thought, okay, like, here we go.
That was weird, but her mother has cancer, and she wants to be able to afford to stay home and care for her.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
That's why she wants the money.
Here's the thing. She said, "I'm shaking like a stripper."
I know, I thought I didn't like that.
That was bizarre.
It was bizarre.
And then the whole cast, they gather up, and Johnny, and this is the most, like, Gen Z 2026. This is the most 2026 group of people ever, because Johnny says, "Hey, how's everybody doing?" Or how's everybody feeling? What's everybody feeling right now? And every single person there is like, anxiety! They're all feeling anxiety. Like, that's the first thing that comes to all their minds. They weren't told to say that. They said that all by themselves. That is the most 2026 bullshit that I've ever seen. What are you all feeling right now? You're on a reality show. You could win all this money. You get to meet Johnny Knoxville dressed as a lesbian grandmother. How are you feeling? Anxiety! What did you think of that, Safi?
I don't care. What would you do? Well, I'd like to know what you would. Well, I mean, the thing is, even one of them, we haven't talked. We only talked about one of the six people.
You do know that this is a review, right?
Yes,
you know,
I know, but one of them.
You say I don't care, but like you're supposed to care because you're doing a review and you're commenting on things.
Their mental.
Safi, these people are soft. They're soy. The first thing that they say is anxiety. I mean, that is so cringeworthy. It's not even funny. Like, all you have to do is just say, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great, or I'm feeling scared. Like, but no, they all say anxiety. Well, all of them.
There's 3 girls and 3 boys, okay? And they're not little kids. They're not teenagers. One of them's probably younger than the rest of them, but I just say, how about 3 females and 3 males? Well, they started at the beginning of the first test, which Mark was forcing me to talk about.
No, I'm not. We're talking about when they get introduced to Johnny.
One of the women says, "Ooh, why do we have to do this?"
Oh, yeah.
And he said, "Well, what are you here for? It's Fear Factor.
Yeah.
What did you expect?"
Yeah.
And I didn't expect this. I'm like, what?
Yeah, she said, because he says, okay, for the first challenge, you guys are going to be picking up bugs in your mouth and then spitting them into test tubes. It's going to be fun. And this woman's like, what? Oh, no! I actually have to do something on Fear Factor! And he says, what did you think this show was going to be? And then she says, I don't know, like fear, discomfort?
Yeah, and he made 48 hours of discomfort. Didn't he say that?
Maybe.
Something like that.
But like that was so cringe. This is what I mean, Safi, is that these people are soft and soy. They're signing up for Fear Factor and complaining they have to do Fear Factor things. I mean, how 2026 can you get?
Okay, well, so anyway, they don't go into we have 6 people, and the first one is this woman. Her name's Adrienne, and Marco's already talked about her. And actually, they kind of focus in depth on these 3 people because when they do the challenge, they're going to be doing it in groups, and the other group is going to be off. They can't hear. They're in a soundproofed area, so they won't be able to know what's going on. So the next person they focus on, this first group, is Blake. He was on the reality show Extracted with his father.
Yeah.
And by being on this show, he wants to prove to his dad that he is tough on his own, I guess, which I think is kind of stupid.
I think it's kind of gay.
And I don't get that.
We were told to review Extracted. It's just that we don't have time, you know. We have too many other things to review. So, unfortunately.
Anyway, I just wanted to say for that Adrian person, she also feels that like her general overall attitude about things, her fears, have been holding her back from experiencing life in a more complete way. I don't know, but I just wanted to put that in. But anyway, so Blake, basically that's why he's here. He wants to prove to his dad that he can be tough on his own, because he talked about what his dad did in this other show, and it sounds like, and he's a lot older, of course, and he did a really good job, and he withheld whatever. I don't know the show, but he withheld a lot of problems for many, many hours, and so
Well,
he thought that was really unbelievable.
I have a good question for you though, Safi.
What?
How many of these people do you think are on SSRIs?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what an SSRI is.
Anti-anxiety, antidepressant medications.
Oh yeah, I guess I did hear that on YouTube.
This is what happens nowadays, is that instead of just, working through problems, all these young girls especially, they're all being given SSRIs, and they're altering the chemistry of their brains. And SSRIs are extremely hard to get off of too.
Yeah.
But this has become a common thing. I even was almost given one, and I said, I'm not taking it. And I took magnesium instead, which is a natural thing. And it worked out just fine.
Okay, well, the next guy, his name is Jeff, and he's gay. And he says this and emphasizes this because for a long time he didn't tell people that he was gay.
Soft.
Because he was afraid that he would lose friends and that people wouldn't speak to him.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting because it was honest.
It's too bad because he was such a better gay than the one from last season. Lance, the flight attendant guy.
Yeah.
Like, he would have been so much better to be on that longer season. And then Lance would have been so much better to be here where he could just get knocked out immediately. So it's kind of unfortunate because he's a likable contestant. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's it. So then they explain there's 5 challenges, there's 2 episodes, and the person who wins gets $50,000. And just to say that after they do this first challenge, or they get to the end, and I know we're not gonna, I don't want to just discount everything, but it's like the other one, the other show, because it's boys versus the girls.
Yeah, already, as soon as,
and
after...
I don't see any way out of it. In fact, I can see that, I can bet that probably a man's going to win.
We're not done, yeah, I know. Well, we're not done with the first challenge, but... I don't know why we're jumping here already, but
I'm just saying.
as soon as
it's just Marco talks about soy and all this BS. Yeah. Well, I'm just going to tell you what is real, not my opinion. I guess it is my opinion, but it's not related to soy. It's related to I don't know what it is, but it's just the way they have it. I just don't see how any of these women are going to win, and it's going to be, these 2 guys are pretty.
I know.
3 guys, actually all 3 are pretty, I don't know, strong or smart.
They get back to the house though, and already they're breaking off, talking about alliances. It's almost like they're told to. It's like, okay, guys, now you're at the house, so. Maybe you could go talk game with each other, because that's what Fear Factor is. It's talking game and alliances. And this is a 2-episode show. And it's like, who gives a fuck about alliances?
And I'm like, when is there going to be time with only 6 people? And what's it going to do? So what? It's going to be the girls versus the boys?
Yeah, and now with the girls... With the girls, the dental hygienist is the one, of course, who initiates the alliance of all the girls versus the boys, because she says, because we need a woman to win.
No, we don't. We just need somebody, whoever is going to have the least fear or can get through the grossness is going to be the one who wins.
Really, what she should have just admitted was that she wants herself to win. I don't know, because she's saying we need a woman to win, as if this is some kind of national emergency. This is the most important political issue right now, is a woman winning Fear Factor. And really the reality was that she wanted to say, I want to win, and the only way that I can win is if we knock out the boys together as women.
Well, okay, to be clear, at the very end of the episode, the host tells them that making alliances might help them to get through next week, which is this week now, game. And so he actually said that to them, which I thought was weird. So who knows what that means, and we don't know yet. So anyway.
And then the boys, they also immediately are like, okay, let's team up against the girls. Now, I will say, I like that part because, as we know in the last season, for some reason, all of the guys were a bunch of soy boys, and they wanted to play white knight, and, they did not want any women to go home. And so they were protecting the women every single week and acting like, okay, no women up for elimination. No, don't put any women in the end game. And these guys in this, soy factor, they're like, screw that. We're gonna beat those girls, and we're going to get them out of here.
Well, actually, they're just being honest. They want to win. So just say they want to win. That's what the other person should have just said. We want to win, but I don't
The girls are being more insidious. It's kind of like a social experiment. You see this kind of high school behavior, where, girls are very shady and sinister and secretive, very manipulative, and disguising their real opinions through, oh, well, we just want a woman to win, and really it's just they want themselves to win,
Yeah. And that's the way it really should be, because there's only one winner.
Yeah.
We went through this last season.
Yeah.
Or the one that just ended. There's only one winner.
Yeah.
So anyway, the first challenge is called computer bugs. And like I said, this first group we just talked about, these three people, they're the first group. And the other group, I won't even say their names yet, they're hiding in seclusion because they don't want them to hear or see what's going on, to give them an edge, because the person who is able to fulfill this challenge the fastest, taking the least amount of time to achieve the end game or the end challenge, they win. So if the other team was there, they might be able to gain an advantage by watching, which they could. So anyway, it's called computer bugs, I guess, and it doesn't matter really. And they have this little lit up screen, like a computer screen, and you touch the screen, and these numbers appear. The numbers refer to what Marco said are test tubes. So you have these three people, and they each have their own test tubes, and they're pretty tall. And then they have a whole bin, flat, shallow, but it's up to where they can bend over and grab a bug by their mouth. They can't touch the bugs with their hands. Not all the bugs, because there's all kinds of different bugs in here. They're like beetles and crawly things. Ew. Anyway, no, they call them darkling beetles, and they are black. So the other ones are like different colors, like I guess like a brown. So they pick them up, and then for each, remember the numbers on the screen I referred to? They touch the screen, it appears for like, I don't know, a few seconds, and then it goes off. And okay, well, those refer to the test tube. So they have to, using their mouths, pick up the bugs and put them in these test tubes that refer to the numbers. Like one of the test tubes has 1, and one has 5, and one has 3, etc. And so the thing about these bugs, they're not just bugs. They secrete some kind of disgusting fluid, and so of course they're tasting that, and it makes it. And actually, one of the contestants said it was spicy. In other words, it was hot, like a pepper or something. So anyway, but it's gross. It tastes terrible. So anyway, that also. So they can't touch. Remember, they can't touch the bugs, and they have several test tubes. And the thing is, when they put the bugs in the test tubes, it showed little red dots. So if they finished it, the dots would stop. So if there were supposed to be 2, they would show 2 red dots. Now, Marco says that they could see the red dots too, but I don't know, because why did they need that number? But I thought it was because they had to remember which test tubes had which number of bugs, which I thought would be extremely hard.
Yeah, I thought
do in such a
small
amount
of time. I thought this challenge was overly complicated.
Yeah, I
did like too. I didn't even pay attention to any of the numbers or the dots or the beeps or the boops. I just paid attention to. I just paid attention to them picking up the bugs in their mouths and putting them in the test tubes, because that's essentially what the challenge was. Like, you have these people coming up with these challenges, and it's like, look, just put the fries in the bag, okay? And in this case, just put the bugs in the test tubes. You got to put 5 in there, 4 in here, 3 in there, and then you can just stand around and wait for the lesbian grandma to say who won. I think, honestly, I know that they wouldn't do this because people would say, it's animal cruelty. Oh, no. I think that...
Well, they weren't hurting them, and they...
Oh, no. Okay. So, why put them in these test tubes? Like, there's no reason... And so, at the end, there could be a twist of, like, the top 2 people who are the fastest... They have to put the bugs in a blender and blend it up and drink the shake.
Oh, gross!
That would
they're going to do that in the paint auction, probably.
Well, because that would have been the payoff to why are they in test tubes? Because you see what I'm saying? Like, there was no reason to put them into test tubes other than, I guess maybe it could be hard to fit them in there, to spit them in there.
Well, the thing is, okay, what are the problems with that? And that is. For one thing, the beetles, especially with the one that had 5, they started crawling out. So yeah. The ones that would have the most beetles, they would crawl. In fact, it did happen to one, I remember, or maybe all of them, and they would fall out onto and they would also drop them onto, like, there's some boards below. And if they could, they'd bend over, but they had to grab the beetle with their mouth. They could not touch the beetles with their hands. In fact, one of them had trouble with that. She accidentally touched it, and he said, "Oh, you used your hand," and then I guess she dropped it or something.
Now, another way you could have simplified it and made it better is, instead of having to put the live bug in there, you'd have to chew up the bug and then just spit out the bug.
I make it grosser than even what it is.
Well, I'm saying the whole thing with like the dots and the red and the green, like, it was just stupid, and it didn't register with me at all. And I feel like, if you're gonna make like a puzzle challenge like that, the audience should be able to, like, easily register, like, okay, this is what's going on, and instead it just felt like overly complicated.
So anyway, the first group, like I said, was Jeff, Adrian, and Blake. And Jeff was the fastest in this group.
I won't say anything about that.
And he did it for 5 minutes and 47 seconds. Yeah. So now they're done.
I bet that's not the only thing.
The next group comes out, and we have Brian, Tatum, and Meg. And we haven't gone through what these people are.
Yeah, I want to talk about who's the fucking shill. Who's the fucking plant? Which one's that? You have the older woman who's like a girl boss.
Okay,
Karen.
We have Brian, who is a firefighter.
Okay, you have the second mustache guy.
And he has actually been in the military and done military stuff. He's there to, I don't know, further show that he's the best leader in his fire department.
Yeah.
Then we have Tatum. She's the youngest girl, or just the youngest contestant in the group. She doesn't even have a job now. She doesn't know what she wants to do. She has been to college.
She's unfocused. Now, here's the thing. This girl I don't know who she is or where she is or what she is. I don't even know if she's a real person. Because here's the thing. She is like the most obvious like plant, like an industry plant that I've ever seen. Like she is like the most obvious like, oh my god, look, it's like this normal young girl and she could be like an actress or a model or something. Like it's like she's inserted in there. Like she doesn't even really feel like a real person. She feels like a plant, a soy plant. And so I really didn't like her. I thought she was very shallow and one-dimensional. She gave off like high school girl vibes. She gave off like influencer, like industry plant vibes. What did you think of her, Safi? She was kind of weird.
I don't know.
What'd you think? I mean, I thought Nobby Knees was better than her. Remember Nobby Knees?
I don't think she's a bad person, and she wasn't.
But she's a
I don't
plant.
think she was annoying.
She's a plant,
I don't
Safi.
know, Marco.
You know what a plant is?
Yeah, I know what a plant is. I don't know if she's a plant.
She's got to be a plant.
Well, okay, that's your opinion.
She's like a character. She's not like a person. She's like a character. It's like when you watch a horror movie and you have like this group of teenagers and they're all fucking stupid, but then you have the one girl and she doesn't do drugs or have sex and she's boring as hell and she's not even very attractive, and it's like you can tell that's the final girl in the horror movie. And now I'm not talking about this girl's attractiveness. I'm just saying in a horror movie, that's like the stereotype is like the boring girl in the group. She survives because she doesn't have sex or do anything besides vote, I guess, maybe. But like this girl, that's what this girl is. She's like the final girl. She's
Okay.
like she's a character.
But I don't care. I don't think she's gonna win.
Maybe
Sorry.
the test tubes they created Tatum in the test tubes because I don't even think she's a real person.
Well, anyway,
So-
she is a real person.
Does she have Social Security?
Oh, Marco.
I don't even know if she does.
When you're born, you get a Social Security
Yeah,
number.
but
Come on,
was
you know
was this
that.
woman ever born though?
Oh, God.
I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe she doesn't have it and she has Soy Security instead.
Okay, and the thing about her, I just want to say, is her name, because the person I think of immediately, and I don't know if all of you, I don't know how old you are, but it's Tatum O'Neal, Brian O'Neal's daughter. You know, the movie Paper Moon.
That woman's a bitch.
She's had a terrible addiction problem. I think she lost custody of her kids.
She's addicted to being a Karen.
Jesus. Anyway, but that's I wondered if she was named after her.
Oh, there's also Tatum from Scream. That's the one that normal people think of.
Well, maybe they got that name from Tatum O'Neal too.
Of course,
I never heard of the name until Tatum O'Neal.
This girl is not crazy like the girl from Scream turned out to be.
No, she's not. She's actually seems pretty average.
She's just weird. She's like a pretzel without the salt on it. She's like like those little.
God.
She's like those little. She's like those little pretzel thins. The little tiny pretzel sticks that just break in half like really easily, and there's no salt on her.
Okay, the other.
Who is she?
I don't know. The other woman is Meg, and she's older, and she's the one that made the comment of, "Ooh," because now here she is at this challenge. Why do we have to do this?
Yeah.
It's because it's discomforting, and he said, "What is this? The house of discomforting factor? 48 hours of discomfiture." And she was an attorney, and now she's an interior designer, and I'm hoping she's going to say something about the house that they're in if she's there long enough, because she is an interior designer.
I know what she's going to say. There's not enough soy.
So anyway, if you can guess who has the best time of the group, anybody, raise your hand. Brian. He has the best time, and unfortunately, and it was close between him and Jeff, he beat him by only 3 seconds. So Brian is immune from elimination, so they will be eliminating one person. Now, they all go back to the house, and this is where they start talking about alliances, and I'm like, oh, God, give me a break.
Yeah.
And then Johnny comes along, and he brings a little bracelet for everybody, and it is a shock bracelet. So they're not allowed to sleep now for the next 48 hours. So it hasn't been too much time where they've been sleepy and needed to fall asleep up to this point, but they have to get up the next day at 6. They have to be down wherever at 6 to do the next challenge. So or no, wait a minute, they're still on the, okay, well, whatever, they have to wear these shock collars. And first they're gonna do the bee challenge. Okay, so
Safi's a little confused.
I'm confused now.
She got hit in the head yesterday with
I didn't. Would you cut it out?
A baseball just came out of nowhere and hit her in the head.
They don't get the shock bracelets until they do this next challenge. So anyway, the next challenge is, and I don't know the name of it, but
let's just call it the Beekeeper Challenge.
And they show, in fact, the picture they have, the publicity picture for the show is Johnny covered in bees. So he did this challenge. Unless it's AI. I don't know.
No, he didn't do the challenge. It's just AI.
Oh, okay. I would think, though, he would have done one of these.
No.
Why wouldn't he want to?
Because he doesn't. He's the host. He just comes on and tells everybody, this is what you have to do, and then he goes into his trailer and smokes a joint.
Oh, Mark, you don't know that. So
come on.
Get over yourself.
Everyone has done that, Safi.
What are you talking about?
Even your cousin's cousin.
Mark, be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about.
So anyways, what they have to do is they have to wear these suits, and then, do they wear a suit?
No.
I forgot. Okay,
They have to cover their eyes.
Yeah, they cover like their heads or
in
something.
Their ear. No, wait, not their...
I can't remember.
Something in their ear. But nobody had trouble with anything getting in their ear, okay?
There's like tons of bees that are released, and they cover every single one of the people. And basically the challenge is that you have to stand there and not be afraid, because if you get afraid, then the bees will sting you. And then at the same time, they're doing like a traditional spelling bee, like where each person has to say a word and then spell it, and they keep going from person to person, and the first person who gets a word wrong gets eliminated from the whole show, which I really like this challenge. I think that out of all the challenges that they've done on both shows combined, this might be my favorite one, because I also think bees are cool. Bees are kind of underrated, and they're also kind of scary. And Tatum, the plant, the final girl, she's scared of bees. She's gotten stung before, and, who knows why. I think it's because it's an indicator she's not a human being. She's like an alien or something. Right?
You're weird.
Because she said, why do the bees like me so much? So what I'm thinking is this could lead to a Goosebumps-style twist where she pulls off her face and she's an alien.
Marco's so full of it. So anyway, remember, there's only 5 challenges, so they've already done one, and there's 4 to go. So, so they do this, and then they do a spelling bee.
Yeah.
And, of course, the bees are stinging. Yeah. Some of them a little bit. And, but Tatum is actually getting through it. And she was almost sick.
Yeah.
That she couldn't do it because, she's been stung multiple times.
She faced her biggest fear.
Yeah, she did.
And that's another indicator she's a plant.
That's what they said in the last show, though, that after something happened, and they showed them how something happened to them during their
It's the
childhood.
fact that it felt like a storyline, Safi, and so it could just be the editing, because reality shows, a problem with them is that they don't really show the full picture.
Yeah, I know
It's
that.
edited, and then people are told to overact and things, and so.
I don't
But
know
what
how
I'm
you could overact to become being covered in bees.
What
I
I'm
really
saying-
don't, especially when they sting.
What I'm saying is that this show feels like a story with characters. She feels like a final girl, and who knows what will happen. But anyways, Jeff gets knocked out.
Let's say he got knocked out. They went through a round, where everybody got words, and they all spelled them correctly. Were really easy words.
I already said that.
Really?
Yeah.
They got through, but then we come down to Jeff, and he has to spell the word ghastly. And I knew that he was going to do it wrong. I don't know what it was.
It's easy.
I know, but he...
Ghastly.
But he spelled it G-A, and it was wrong.
But he also put an E in there, too.
No, I didn't hear that, but it's G-H.
Yeah.
So, immediately he spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
But he didn't say anything until he was... Johnny didn't say anything until he was finished.
Which is sad,
But he was fine. He was so...
He's very mature.
Calm and mature. And, like I said, better than that other person was on the last season. So, he's out.
Yeah.
So, he's eliminated now. So, there's 5 people left, and there's 3 challenges left to go.
Yeah.
And this is where they all go back to the house
for the second
evening.
Time.
Yeah, the second time, because they had to change their clothes for this bee challenge. And and then Johnny comes and gives them these shock bracelets, and it starts getting into the night. And you can see now you have the 2 guys that are left and the 3 women. And I'm like, this is just like last season.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to be the man who wins. I'm sorry. But, it really looks to me like the man is going to win. Because these girls are very,
they're not very strong.
they're kind of dingbatish. I don't know how to explain.
They're like space cadets.
I don't know. I don't want to, I don't want to say personal things, but I'm just saying what it looks like. And I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
You have the girl boss. The girl boss is unlikable, and she's one of those like loud types of people you just don't want to be around for very long. And then the dental hygienist is like, she's all about herself, and she's disguising it as like, oh, we need a woman to win. And then the third girl, I don't even know if she's a real girl. She might be an alien. So
well, I don't know, but these other 2 guys, you have Brian and the other guy, one's a fireman, and one was on this challenge, which probably is a very physically demanding in this show, the reality show Extracted, probably a very physically demanding show to be on with his dad. And so they're both pretty, and the fireman was also in the military. So they're not pushovers. And so we'll see what happens down the line.
I think that the guys are so strong that it's like they could be a team of Avengers, like superheroes.
They do look like, and that's true. They do look like that.
They put like the most strongest guys imaginable against these girls.
And they're girly, and they're like girly girls.
Like pretzel thins.
And so anyway, we'll see, but they're like girly girls. I'm sorry.
I think that the girl boss, she's not a pretzel thin, she's like a wheat thin. Which actually, I kind of think wheat thins are underrated, but I don't think they're good for you. But
okay, well, so anyway, it goes during the night, and a couple of them, especially Adrian, with the mother who has cancer, she says she's used to taking naps, which that's like me. And then, but she can stay up late, but she takes naps. And so this is going to be really hard. This part of it's going to be hard for her too.
It's pretty scary.
And actually, it'll be hard on all of them. I don't care. You're going to have to stay up for 48 full hours if you make it through there, and it's you have to be, when you do these challenges, you have to be kind of on your game.
Yeah.
And if you're sleep deprived, you're going to be off your game no matter what.
I think the only thing that I'll worry about is somebody getting injured because of not being fully awake. But
Yeah.
I think that, like, just being awake for 2 days is okay. Like, it's pushing it. Like, it's good they're not doing, like, the 3 days of soy. So,
Well, I've seen... My husband likes to watch Lifetime movies, which are all based on true stories. And I've heard he watches them like back to back to back to back. Drives me insane. And because I'm doing something else. And there's plenty of people who have been tortured and injured, and they have been awake for that long because they couldn't sleep. And... because they were being hurt or they were something else. But anyway, it can happen so that they can be awake for that long. But still,
yeah.
it's these people, this is a choice they're making. This isn't something that was forced upon them. So if you were having something forced upon you, you would be in a different frame of mind and would be awake. So,
I had a really funny story about staying awake, where Safi remembers. What was that, Safi?
I don't know.
Safi remembers I was at a sleepover at this kid named Owen's house.
Oh yeah.
And that's probably the best sleepover that I had as a kid. And we played video games. We ate like entire bags of Doritos. And we drank soda, and we had Papa John's pizza, and we were staying up, and it basically the whole entire time we were just in this basement area, like this big basement that was really cool, but we were staying up and we were playing Call of Duty, and it was a level that I had a lot of difficulty with, and I asked him to play. He tried it, and then he died a couple of times and gave it to me, and that's when he fell asleep. And then I was playing it, and I couldn't beat it. So then I also fell asleep. And I guess, like, we weren't supposed to fall asleep and, like, actually go to bed, because the next morning he was like, Marco, we were supposed to play a tag. We were supposed to play like a hide and seek in the middle of the night, like glow in the dark hide and seek or glow in the dark tag. And so I guess I fell asleep and I ruined it. And then in the morning we had 2 full boxes of donuts. So that was pretty hilarious. Like, it's hard to stay up. You know, Safi can't stay up. You know, Safi's got to go to sleep.
No.
And then she's going to get up and she's going to go to sleep
wake
again.
up in the middle of the night. That's just horrible. But it's not as bad as it used to be.
And she wakes up and the cat is on top of her and he's like, what are you doing?
He likes to snuggle. Oh, and last night it was so hot and I was just miserable.
Yeah. So I give this episode...
Wait a minute.
What?
One more thing is, okay, so this is when they did get shocked, at least Adrian did, in the middle of the night, maybe somebody else, and she went, oh! Like that, and because if you fall asleep, you will get shocked. And I don't know what to compare it to, because they haven't really said that, but they get up, they have to be at this place at 6 o'clock, which they are, and Johnny's wearing this green cowboy outfit, which is like Roy Rogers, like a cowboy star. And the next challenge they will be facing will be the paint auction. And they had that the last time. And we'll see what happens. And they did show a few little pieces of it for this week. And, where like one of them will be hold on to these rods and they shoot up the electric volts and they have to deal with it. And of course one of the men, there's 2 men, is going to be doing that. So we'll see what happens. If you recall, the last show, the person who won was a guy, and he was an athlete, and he did that particular paint auction challenge, and he was in pain, but he got through it. So if he can get through it, those two guys, I would think. But we'll see what happens. But that's all. I don't think they showed any of the others, except that looked like there was going to be, of course, things they have to eat that are going to be gross. And
so, anyways, I would give the episode a B. I think it's a good. It's better than the full season. It's a lot better. It's a lot more tolerable. There is still some cringeworthy stuff, and there's like a plant that I don't know if she's human or not. And
oh, for God's sakes, Mark!
I mean, it's like Stay Out of the Basement, at the end where the dad is like, I'm your real father, and put that weed killer down. And then you have the other guy, and he says, No, I'm your real dad. And it's like, who is the real dad? Who is the plant? And he's like, he's not even a person. He's a plant, Casey. Margaret.
Like a plant.
He's a plant.
Marco.
And then the other guy says princess, and then Margaret's like, oh, I know what kind of shit you're into. And then she fucking eviscerates the plant father, and
weed killer.
That's Goosebumps. So that's a lot better than this. But I don't know, who is Tatum. What is Tatum? Is she real?
Marco, be quiet.
It's just she actually exists.
So I'll give it a B as well. But I really think it's just going to be a guy who wins.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, and I apologize if that's offensive to anybody. But if you see the people and just listen to them, and then you look at these two boys, men, they're, we'll see. I just don't see how it could be any different, because if there's any, I know they're going to have to do this gross eating thing and the shocks, and now there's only 5 people now. So I'm trying to, I didn't look back at last season because I have all the notes, but, they had the thing where they put the needles. Remember the one guy had the needles put in him, Dido or whatever.
Dildo.
And then his name was Dildo.
Yeah, his name was Dildo.
No, it wasn't. It was Dido.
No, it's Dildo.
And then the guy who actually won, he did this thing where he had to put, each hand had to be on this rod, and they shot electric bolts into it. There was that. So there's 2. And then they had more people. I don't know. I think they had more people than 5 in this last season when they did the paint auction. So they had more things, I think, to do. So there's only 5 people, and so we'll see what happens. But I know they'll have this thing with the bolts that shoot up in these little rods, and we'll see. I mean, the needle thing. Oh God. I mean, there's only 2 guys. And then the 3 girls, and I can't imagine the 3 girls having needles put through their arms. Oh, God, to think about that. Just, ew. So there's no anesthetic or anything. I mean, there's just having these needles go through your arms. Ugh.
Alright, so anyways, please like this video, comment, and subscribe. And then please check out our Patreon page if you'd like to see more content from our channel. We have a plethora of exclusive content, bonus videos that are not even on the channel, and my short film. And it will bring you a ton of extra fun. Maybe I'll even make a video where I speculate, like, is Tatum a real person? Like, I could go through it, like,
Marco is being silly.
Does she have a zip code, even? Like, is she real? Does she, I mean, what happened? Where was she created? Okay. Where was she made?
Okay, that's enough.
Was she made in like a bakery or something? Like at Crumble? Did Crumble collaborate? Did Crumble make a person out of cookies?
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.